That's why we're going to get started. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining us for this, the second of our webinars in anticipation of Notre Dame Day 2016. We're 12 days away from Notre Dame Day. My name is Jonathan Ratartha. I work in the University of Notre Dame's annual giving office on our Notre Dame Day team. I'm joined by my colleague Mark Naman, who you'll meet in a little bit. He's going to take you through the Notre Dame Day website, as well as my colleagues from the Alumni Association. We're actually reaching you today from the Alumni Association's office in the Eck Visitor Center. I'm here with Ann Faherty, Ellie Coons, and Mike Brown, who many of you know well. And Mike, would you like to kind of kick us off here? Welcome everyone to our webinar and get them excited for the big day in 12 days.
Absolutely, Jonathan. Thank you, everyone, for carving out some time and joining the webinar. We're very excited here again this year to partner with Jonathan and Mark and getting you some information to get you ready for the ND Day that, as Jonathan said, is just 12 days away. So they'll be able to kind of take you through this, and they do a great job. And if you have any questions or anything after, they'll do a good job of following up to or let us know here in the Alumni Association. But again, huge thanks for all your efforts out there locally, and again for taking some time with us today.
Great. Thank you, Mike, and thanks again for the great partnership by Dolly Duffy and everyone at the Alumni Association. Hopefully, those of you that are following us on Proud to Be ND have seen our latest On the Road to Notre Dame Day video featuring Dolly Duffy. In the car, driving in one of our little smart cars with one of our students. It's a great video. Check it out. We're so thankful for the partnership every year, and we're so thankful to all of you for all that you do for Notre Dame throughout the year, including Notre Dame Day 2016. So we're going to get started with our presentation. I have everyone on mute now, so if you hold off on your questions till we get to the Q&A section of our broadcast. We'll be able to take everyone's questions. There's a raise hand feature that you'll be able to use in this, our new Zoom platform, in order to ask questions. So if you run into any problems during the broadcast, by all means use our chat window to send us a note, and that way I can see it. If there's any video or audio problems, we'll be able to help you out on that front too. So without further ado, let's get into this year's presentation. We're going to start by showing, we're very happy to show this, our intro video that you're going to see during the broadcast this year, during our 29-hour live broadcast starting at 6:42 Eastern on April 24th. This is what you'll be seeing at the beginning and at the end of each hour. Notre Dame Day has turned into a tremendous campus-wide event. I cannot stress enough how many different areas of the university are involved in making this a success. And we're so excited to have all of you join us to really, truly make this the global celebration of Notre Dame. And we can only do that with your help. So for those of you that might be new to Notre Dame Day this year, what is Notre Dame Day? It's our global celebration of all things Notre Dame, where it's meant to engage, inform, inspire our alumni, parents, and friends to support the university. Notre Dame is not the first university in the country to try its own single day of giving. However, right now I can tell you we are the biggest of its kind. We had over 16,000 gifts to the university last year on Notre Dame Day. That's the largest of its kind in higher education, and that's thanks to all of you, especially so many of you out there driving, giving, and voting for your club scholarship that helped make it a big success. And we're going to go even bigger this year with your help. Notre Dame Day is essentially two things. The first is an opportunity for your club scholarship to win a share of this year's $1 million challenge fund. So like we have had the previous 2 years, and now we're in year 3, we've had a small group of very generous benefactors step forward, put together this $1 million challenge fund and say, listen, we're going to give it up to the Notre Dame community, the Notre Dame family, to decide how we allocate these funds. So we'll go into the giving and voting process in a little bit, but please know that the biggest thing you guys have to know from a club perspective is that each and every one of your club scholarships will be eligible for a share of this year's $1 million challenge fund. Notre Dame Day is also the only one of its kind in higher education, a 29-hour live broadcast from the Fortune Student Center that tells amazing stories from so mmany groups that are eligible for giving and voting on Notre Dame Day. We have a huge number of student performances from the Glee Club, from our choirs, Notre Dame has its own mariachi band, and they'll certainly all be on board again this year to provide some amazing student performances. You'll be hearing from coaches. You'll be hearing from some of our athletes. You'll be hearing from a ton of special guests. I'll be able to tell you right now, the beginning of our broadcast right at 6:42 p.m. on Sunday, April 24th, is going to be the biggest hour that we've ever had. We'll have Mike Golick will be in studio with us anchoring the first hour, along with Ann Thompson. We're going to have Lou Holtz live on the phone joining us in the first hour, so definitely not something to be missed, starting at 6:42 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday, April 24th, only 12 days from right now. Some highlights from last year in case you missed it. Last year, year two, was a tremendous year for Notre Dame Day. We're so excited to be able to share some of these results from some of our clubs that did an amazing job to kind of give you a sense of what kind of dollars are at stake here with our $1 million challenge fund. The clubs of Miami, Minnesota, Orange County, Lehigh Valley, Los Angeles, our Black alumni group, Notre Dame Club of Hawaii, and New York, from coast to coast. These alumni clubs of all different sizes, they got out there on social media, they got active with their email lists and their newsletters, and they raised hundreds of votes, thousands of dollars for their club scholarship. Last year, as I mentioned, Notre Dame Day 2016, the biggest single giving day event of its kind, over 16,000 gifts, and every single one of our over 750 AOIs received at least one vote last year. So a tremendous effort by the entire Notre Dame family. We're hope to go even bigger with it this year. I think we have over 800 different areas of interest this year. But we're going to go into some tips in a little bit to show you that really any club of any size can make an impact. And it's as simple as getting on there and working your contacts on social media and via email. So to kind of go through the process of Notre Dame Day again, for some of those of you that might be new this year, some of those who might be new in a leadership position in your club this year, how does Notre Dame Day work? We ask you first to think about what are those 5 areas that you love most at Notre Dame. Maybe it was your residence hall. Maybe it was the Center for Social Concerns that you did some work with as a student. Maybe it's, obviously for all of you, it's going to be your local club scholarship. What are those 5 areas that you love most at Notre Dame? And there are over 800 of them that you can think about this year. We ask you to then make a gift, $10 minimum gift to the university, and you'll receive 5 votes. Now, no matter how big that gift is, it could be $10 minimum, it could be $100, it could be $1,000, it could be $10,000. You're only going to receive those 5 votes. And that's really to make this the most accessible kind of a giving day as possible for as many members of the Notre Dame family as possible. Once you have those 5 votes, you've made your gift, you've received your 5 votes, you'll be able to cast those 5 votes to help distribute our $1 million challenge fund to the areas that you love the most at Notre Dame. And the division is right down the middle. Depending on the number of votes each group gets, they'll have $1 million divided by that number of votes. It could not be any more simple than that. You can cast your 5 votes all to the same thing, and I'm sure many of you as club presidents and representatives will be encouraging your members to cast all 5 of their votes for your club scholarship, but you could also break it up and do 2 to the scholarship and 3 to a department on campus or to your residence hall if you like. So we do offer some flexibility in that regard, and it's all towards helping distribute this year's $1 million challenge fund. If you make a second gift, you will not receive another 5 votes. You'll receive just 1 vote that you'll be able to cast again. So the key is to make your first gift, cast your 5 votes, and then get other people to go and make their first gift as well so that they have 5 votes to cast additionally for your club scholarship. Finally, we ask you to share, spread the word about this opportunity. Social media, people often ask me, to what degree should social media be a part of our marketing strategy for Notre Dame Day? And we're going to go into some tips in a little bit, but really social media should be the key driver for all of you. It's the easiest, it's the cheapest. We had over 2.2 million social media impressions throughout the Notre Dame Day campaign last year. Over 75% of referrals to the Notre Dame Day website were through social media. So anybody can get involved with it on that front. And it's definitely the easiest way to start getting the word out, and your efforts can certainly start today as we gear up towards Notre Dame Day starting in 12 days. To give you a sense of how my Notre Dame Day last year went, I made my $10 Notre Dame Day gift to the Notre Dame Fund. That was my $10 minimum gift. I received my 5 votes and I cast them to Film, Television, Theater, my old department when I was a student here, the Center for Social Concerns, my local Notre Dame club here in St. Joe Valley. I think I saw Dag as being one of the people joining us right now, so big shout out to Notre Dame Club of St. Joe Valley. I cast a vote for the rugby club and for men's soccer. So 5 votes, 5 different areas. And as you can see, my total Notre Dame Day impact, the value of my $10 gift, along with what ended up being a $14 value for each vote out of the $1 million challenge fund, my personal total impact was over $84. Now, people have asked us this year, how much is each vote going to be worth this year? Is it going to be more than $14? Is it going to be less? We're trying each year to keep things in the $10 to $15 range, so we do expect to keep it right in that area this year. So you can expect a very similar impact with your $10 minimum gift and your accompanying 5 votes. Some steps for success, we'll repeat these again later on, but the first thing you guys can do is read the Notre Dame Day Handbook and Style Guide. We included this short URL link in the calendar invite that you all received. So definitely head to that website. It has a listing of all the official colors that you can use. It has downloads for our logos, for our slogans. It has an email signature that a lot of our club leaders have been starting to use in their emails. It has a link to this presentation. It has a link to our first webinar, and we'll also put up this version of the webinar after the fact. Every resource that you need to find can be found on our Notre Dame Day Handbook and Style Guide, including some additional email templates. I know that my great colleagues here at the Alumni Association sent out some email templates last week. We have some additional language that you can use as well on our Handbook and Style Guide page. So make that your first stop after today's webinar if you haven't been there already. Then we're going to ask you to customize your area of interest's own Notre Dame Day page. Just like last year, each area of interest, each Notre Dame club throughout the world, you already have a Notre Dame Day page created, and it's up to you to kind of customize that content. My colleague Mark will get into that in a minute, but certainly that's a key website that you want to drive your folks to. They can give and vote right from that page. They can watch the broadcast right from that page, and that should certainly be where you want to drive all of your constituents to in the lead up to Notre Dame Day. Sharing content, I know a lot of you, when we've had some one-on-one conversations about social media strategy, a lot of you say, we don't really have the resources to put together our own, really robust kind of social media content as much as we would like to for Notre Dame Day. The best part is that you have us here to help provide content that you can share through your pages. So if you're not already following us, make sure you follow Proud to be ND on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I believe we're on Snapchat now. I have no idea what that is, but apparently it's popular with the students. And follow the Alumni Association as well. My colleague Josh Stowe here manages that. Follow them on Facebook and Twitter. We're going to be putting out a ton of Notre Dame Day content in the next 12 days. We're going to be putting out promotions for the guests that we're going to be having on. We're going to put out links to information about giving and voting, results from previous years. We have our videos that have been huge hits with both the Notre Dame Leprechauns and our most recent one with Dolly Duffy. And you can feel free to share all of that content through your social media pages. So please use our social pages as a resource for content for your pages in the next 12 days. The key is to engage your constituents and their networks. You can do that via your own social media pages, your personal social media pages, your email list. Just make sure you're using that hashtag NDDay. That way we can see that you're tweeting and posting about Notre Dame Day. We can pull it into some of the visualizations that we're creating both on our Notre Dame Day website and in our social media lounge during the broadcast. And if it's really great stuff, we'll even promote it. I'll be in the lounge all 29 hours, and we'll be able to highlight some of the great work from our clubs actually on the broadcast. So please make sure you use that hashtag. That way we'll be able to see the great work that you're doing on behalf of your club for Notre Dame Day. Finally, give and vote. Giving and voting will start early next week. We're shooting for April 18th, but we want to make sure everything is ready to go and locked up. But the giving and voting will start in advance of Notre Dame Day. We'll let you know when that occurs. But the live leaderboard will not be visible until 6:42 p.m. on Sunday the 24th. So we certainly want to encourage those of your constituents that are excited about getting out there early and giving and voting to be able to do so. But we're holding off on the very exciting leaderboard results until we get started with our live broadcast on Sunday. Finally, the most important thing you can do certainly is to thank your constituents after the fact. Let them know how you performed. Let them know how many votes you received, how many of the Challenge Fund dollars you expect to get. That big thank you to your members. We're going to be doing plenty of thanking here from our office here at the university. It's one of the best parts of our job, and we know that you'll get a lot of satisfaction from it as well once Notre Dame Day has completed. Getting into some of the nitty-gritty now about your Notre Dame Day pages. NotreDameDay.nd.edu is once again your kind of home base for all Notre Dame Day stuff this year. Same URL as last year. It essentially supports three key components of Notre Dame Day. It's the place where you're going to go to give and vote. It's the place where you're going to go to watch our 29-hour live broadcast. And it's also going to be the home for your club scholarship pages, which you'll be able to search for and find right from the Notre Dame Day homepage. So to give us some insight into how this year's page customization works, I'm going to turn things over to my colleague, Mark Naman. He will be our technical lead throughout the next 12 days if you need support, and he's going to talk us through logging in and customizing your Notre Dame Day page. If you have not yet emailed ndday@nd.edu, that's how you're going to receive your login credentials this year to customize your page. So we'll put that up on a slide in a little bit. But before you ask, I haven't gotten my login credentials yet, you need to email ndday@nd.edu, and we'll hook you up with your credentials for your page. So, Mark, let me get the web browser up here, and then we can have you take over. Hold on one second. Okay, why don't you take over?
All right. Hello, everybody. Just to reiterate, what Jonathan said, if you'd like your credentials, please email ndday@nd.edu, and we will send them along as quickly as we can. Once we do that, you will receive an email that will have a link to this landing page, so you don't have to try to memorize the URL, but the easy way to get to it, if you want to write it down, is NotreDameDay.nd.edu/dashboard. That will get you over to the login page and to where you'll be able to manage your pages. So in this scenario, I'm going to actually log in as myself quickly. Oops. Of course, in a live demo, it's not going to work correctly. There we go. All right, the first thing you'll want to see here, there's going to be some dashboard items and some other things that you can pretty much ignore at this point. You just want to go to campaigns on the left. You'll see your campaign or campaigns if you're managing multiple, if you happen to manage multiple clubs pages, which I don't know why you would, but, and it'll be listed here. I'm currently the manager for the Notre Dame Fund, so I just click on my campaign and I'm in. There's a few things here that are important to focus on in terms of editing what's going on. The first is campaign details, where we've landed. There are 4 key text areas. We have default text in 3 of them for you, and I'll show you how these appear on the site in a minute, but they are description, just a general description about your club, anything you want to say there. What donations are applied to, so where's the money going to go? In your case is usually club scholarships. Then why are donations necessary? You can put something in there that gets people excited about why they should give. And then just a welcome message where you see Notre Dame Fund there in the bottom right here. That'll have your club name or whatever, wherever you are. Say, Notre Dame Club of Jersey Shore or Central Jersey or something like that. And you can put in a short welcome message in there. Real simple, whatever text you'd like, hit save, and you've got your campaign details edited. The other one I really want to focus on is this media tab here. If you go to the media tab, you'll see a campaign banner image. That's just a default background image that's going to be on every page. That's not editable. But this campaign image area here is where you can upload your logo. So if you have a club logo you want to upload, or you want to create a custom one, or somebody decides to edit a Notre Dame Day /club logo that they'd like to put up, this is the place to put it. This is how people will visually identify you on the site and on the leaderboard and other places. Real simple, click on the camera. You'll get a pop-up there to find the image you want, navigate to your image, hit open, and it will load it. Over here on the right, you'll see an area called Video and Image Gallery. The Video and Image Gallery is going to load images or videos that you have into an image rotator that exists on the site. You can see we have two default ones. There's a YouTube video, and a Notre Dame Day image there as well that will appear on every site. So for those that don't go in and edit their pages, there will be at least default content there for you. But real simple, same idea. If you want to upload an image, click on the camera. That way, if you want to put a YouTube video on, click on YouTube, and it'll give you a space to just put in the URL, or you can use Vimeo as well. Click Upload Video, and you're good to go. That's basically it. Really simple, quick edits, and to give you an idea of what that looks like, I'm going to stay away from clubs, so I'm not showing any favoritism to any of you. But I'm going to go with the Nordic Ski Club. So the Nordic Ski Club, you can see here's that logo that they've uploaded right up here. And then this is the image rotator with all their various images. You can have an image, or the videos that we talked about will also appear in here. Here's the area that we talked about as just a quick description or your welcome message, where it said Notre Dame Fund on the previous page that we were looking at. It would say your club name, in this case, Nordic Ski Club. Description area, donations are applied to and why are donations necessary. You'll notice at the bottom that says this campaign has not yet begun. That's because we haven't launched Notre Dame Day, so there's no data on giving or voting yet. We do have some enhancements coming to this page as well. Nothing for you to do. It won't change any of these areas that we've talked about today, but we will see some new data points and other things that will launch when we go live to show how many votes you've received, what share of the $1 million you're currently at. That will all update as we go through the day. So real simple work there to just get a few things in. Again, if you want your credentials, please send an email to ndday@nd.edu, and we'll send them along as quickly as we can. And then the last thing I want to highlight here quickly is this bar that cuts across the page there. This is where anyone who lands on your page can share insight about this page and the fact that they're going to vote for you or what they're going to do. So if you want to get all your constituents inside your club to share on Facebook, they can actually easily share right from here by coming to your page. So you just grab your URL and send it to them and ask them all to share it on Facebook or tweet about it. That'll drive people into your page and hopefully drive interest and also get the social message out there.
All right, thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Again, for those of you that are may have tuned in a little bit late, we have everybody on mute now, but we'll be taking some questions later on in the hour here, so plenty of time for questions. Thanks again for hanging in there. Now you've had a sense of kind of what to look for when you're customizing your website and the mechanics of doing so. We know many of you want to know what are some of those tips to really drive some amazing content that can encourage giving and voting on Notre Dame Day. So let me just get back into our presentation. What's the best way to market for Notre Dame Day, particularly when it comes to social media? What are those keys? The tools that you have at your disposal are ones that you should already likely have an audience built in with. The first is your club's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram pages, whatever social media venue, maybe you just do stuff on YouTube, whatever social media page you're most comfortable with, that is the one that you want to focus on driving. I think that Notre Dame Day, the campaign, especially with 12 days to go, it's a tough ask to try to build an audience from scratch, in the next 12 days that you can leverage on Notre Dame Day. But if you have already an audience on any of these platforms, put your efforts into converting that audience. Don't put your efforts into driving a new audience on a platform that maybe you're not as familiar yet. So that could be Facebook, could be Twitter, could be Instagram, could be Snapchat, Vimeo, YouTube, whatever you're most comfortable with. Next thing to think about is your personal social media pages. Oh, we have a chat coming through. Question for later. Great. Your personal social media pages, right? Each of you, I know, have social media pages for yourself, for your family members. We're asking you to leverage those as well, right? Share some of the content that your club page posts. Share some of the content that we're posting on Proud to BND and on the Alumni Association. And make sure you leverage your own personal networks of folks. I'm sure a lot of them are also local members of your club, but they could be friends and alumni from around the country that you're still connected with on Notre Dame Day. They are going to be just as able to help you out with their giving and voting on Notre Dame Day. So please make sure you're leveraging your personal Notre Dame or your personal social media pages. Finally, the university social pages, as I mentioned, most importantly, Proud to BND and the Alumni Association, we're going to be putting out a ton of content for you to share with your constituents in the next 12 days. Videos, photos. Please make sure that you're following those accounts if you're not doing so already. What kind of tactics can you employ? Again, I mentioned use the hashtag NDDA. That we can see you. We can see the great work that you're doing. We can highlight it both on Proud to BND and we can highlight it. I can highlight it during the broadcast, during our social media lounge segments at the end of each hour. Share our news and updates from Proud to BND. Again, we want to be your source of information, both the assets from our marketing page that we gave the link for earlier, as well as Proud to BND on social media. Share your Notre Dame Day page. That should be an element of it. Customizing your Notre Dame Day page should be an element of your strategy. It shouldn't be the key focus of your strategy. Oftentimes people will ask me, should we put more effort into our page or into the social media work that we do to get people to your page? And I think it's much more focus on the social media work that you're going to get people to the page with, because if they've already gotten there and they click that link and they're at your Notre Dame Day page, they're very likely to convert no matter what you actually do to customize your page. So focus on getting the creativity and getting your creative assets into the social media work, and then just make sure that that your Notre Dame Day page is consistent. If you have a great story to tell about how you used the funds last year or how you would use the funds this year, some of the students that have benefited, both social media and your Notre Dame Day pages are great ways to tell that story. And those are the kind of photos and videos and stories that we're really encouraging the clubs in particular to leverage. Talk about the impact of giving. You know, I always tell people when they ask me about giving to Notre Dame, that giving to a local alumni club scholarship is the best way to give to Notre Dame, but have that kind of local impact. It's such a powerful message. It's one that's very different from a lot of the other venues for giving to the university. So I encourage you to definitely leverage that angle, tell those stories about how students have benefited from your scholarship in the past and the kind of new roads that you can create and new opportunities that you can create for local students by giving to Notre Dame Day in 2016. A couple case studies here from some clubs that really crushed it last year. Orange County, California. And again, these case studies are also available on the handbook page, so you can refer to those case studies there. But Orange County last year, they separated things into what I think is the best way of, from a time frame perspective, organizing your marketing calendar for Notre Dame Day. And that's thinking of things in the 1 month out, 1 week out, and day of strategies. And they should be a little bit different for each. And we'll show you how Orange County kind of did that. Obviously, the 1 month out strategy, it's a little late for those of you joining us to get into the 1 month out strategy, but that's really to build awareness, to send emails, to make mentions in your newsletter that Notre Dame Day is coming. More importantly is the 1 week out strategy, especially because giving and voting is going to be open early this year. The message should be, get ready for the broadcast, get ready to tune in and see how we're doing on Sunday, but you can take part now. So give and vote starting now, making sure you have that robust strategy the entire week leading up to Notre Dame Day while giving and voting is open. That's going to make sure that you have a real head start coming into the beginning of our broadcast and the unveiling of the leaderboard at 6:42 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday the 24th. Finally, your day of strategy. There's going to be a lot of noise out there. As I mentioned, 2.2 million social media impressions last year. You need to be on social media and an email as early and often as you can. Their messaging was really to help support the scholarship. Don't forget, vote today. I believe that Orange County sent emails on both Sunday and Monday. There are some clubs and groups that were sending emails to their email lists every hour for Notre Dame Day. So you really cannot be out there too early or too often with the message. And it really doesn't take a lot of creative resources to do it. You can see last year, Orange County leveraged some of the creative work that the Alumni Association sent out last year. They sent out that great email last week with some new images and content for you guys to use. So by all means, leverage some of that in your week out and day of strategies. Los Angeles, they got really creative with things. They were focused all about a theme. The theme was Trojan A's, the cure to Trojanitis, obviously a dig against the very loud and vocal Southern California fan base that surrounds the Los Angeles club at all times. They focused on that theme, and they really drove it home. They put some great creative work into it. They did a series of advertisements for this Trojan A's thing. They used the ND Day hashtag. They engaged their board members with the activity. Those are going to be some of your largest advocates with some of the largest networks. So make sure that your board members are aware of what Notre Dame Day is, and they're excited to get involved with it and spread the word amongst their constituents and their connections. And they really did a good job to explain that giving and voting. And we'll be putting out a video like we did last year that takes people through the giving and voting process. Please be sure to make sure that your constituents know exactly how the giving and voting works. And, Los Angeles did such an amazing job last year. As you can see, we focused, during one of our segments in the social media lounge, my colleague Sarah kind of took people through that campaign because it was just so creative. But again, it doesn't need to be slick and polished and professionally produced like this. Sometimes the most organic cell phone videos, cell phone pictures, the most organic stuff can sometimes have the most resonance with people and gain the most traction. So don't be afraid if it's just you're one person manages a social media page. If it's just one person with a camera phone, you can create the kind of content that's going to be appealing to your members in the lead up to Notre Dame Day. And we see it every year. It's all about getting out there early and often. It's not about getting out there with the most expensive, most professionally produced stuff. Miami, however, my good friend Danny Annis, who joined us for the first webinar, they somehow got access to the basketball court. We're not going to ask why or how, but somehow they did, and they put together an amazing video.
Hi, I'm Danny Yanez, president of the Notre Dame Club of Miami. This Notre Dame Day on April 26th and 27th, our club needs your help. With your minimum $10 donation and your 5 votes directed to our club, you can help support Miami kids achieve their dreams of coming to Notre Dame. Please donate and support. Go Irish.
Amazing job from Notre Dame Club of Miami. Again, we're not encouraging any illicit activity. If I see anybody running onto the field during the blue and gold game on Saturday, I'm going to disavow any knowledge of your activities. But it really doesn't take a lot of effort to get really quick and easy videos up there on social media. People have done it already this year. Miami's already out there in a big way this year. Mid-Hudson Valley, I believe, has a video out there that's awesome. We're going to be sharing that stuff on Proud to BND as well if you guys need examples. But the stakes have been raised. I mean, in the past, the first couple of years, it was about kind of getting the clubs to join in and participate. And now it's about just, you got to come to play because other clubs are really bringing it this year, and they're really have been aggressive and will continue to be aggressive with the votes over the next 12 days. Southeast Virginia, one of my favorite videos from last year. Thanks again to the Notre Dame Club of Southeast Virginia. Again, not one of the biggest clubs in the world, but they put the effort out there on social media. They got involved early and often with their communications, and they had a very successful Notre Dame Day in 2015. It really is up. Any club can step forward this year and do some tremendous work in getting gifts and votes and helping to allocate that $1 million challenge fund. Some next steps for you. The first, email ndday@nd.edu. That's the way that you're going to get the login credentials to customize your Notre Dame Day page. So that's the very first thing that you should do after viewing our webinar today. Next, log into your page, notredamebay.nd.edu/dashboard, as Mark went through, and customize your page. Download, read that handbook and style guide. All that information is on the page for you to help really create some amazing content, and then start sharing your stories. It is definitely not too early at this point. There have been a lot of clubs that have already been aggressive out there already. It's up to you just to get out there early and often. Use any kind of resources at your disposal, pictures that you already have, videos maybe that your club has already used. Get those posted. Just get people aware that your club is active in Notre Dame Day and help drive those gifts and votes. For those of you joining us at the end of this week for the Leadership Conference, so many of you club presidents that are traveling to South Bend as part of this year's Leadership Conference, we will have a breakout session where we're going to go through this same slide deck again and be available to answer questions at 9:45 a.m. in rooms 100 to 104 in McKenna Hall. So if you're, this will be part of the agenda that you receive upon arriving to campus for Leadership Conference weekend. But please know that we are going to have a breakout session devoted to Notre Dame Day. We have boxes full of Notre Dame Day swag that we have to get them out of my office. We have 18 giant boxes of Notre Dame Day football. So please, at the very least, stop by 100 to 104 McKenna Hall and grab some Notre Dame Day swag, footballs, buttons, pins, flags. We have a lot of great stuff to get you really excited for Notre Dame Day on the 24th. As I mentioned, giving and voting will begin early, tentatively scheduled for the 18th. We want to make sure everything is locked up and in good shape, but giving and voting will begin early, so please look out for the notification that giving and voting has begun. And finally, please join us Notre Dame Day, April 24th and 25th, starting 6:42 p.m. Eastern Time. Our 29-hour live broadcast, amazing guests from around the world, incredible student performances, inspiring stories from the entire Notre Dame family. If you have additional questions in the next 12 days, there's 3 people from our team that you can definitely reach at any time. The Alumni Association, they're great. They've been great partners with this as well. But for specific Notre Dame Day questions, I think your best bet, start with Aaron Wall, our program director and executive producer. If you have questions about the giving and voting, about the allocation of gifts, about how your club scholarship is going to be accounted for and receive their money, those kind of 10,000-foot questions, Aaron is your best bet. If you have questions, anything about the website or the technology involved, Mark Naman, who you just heard from, is the way to go. And then if you have any questions at all about social media promotion, if you want additional tips and tricks, if you've done a video and you've done some pictures and you want us to promote them on Proud to BND, please send me an email. We'll be happy to help you guys out and give you guys additional guidance on the social media front. Please don't hesitate to contact me with questions there. So we're going to open up the floor now. I'm going to unmute everybody. I'm going to ask you to use the raise hand button if you have a question, then we'll queue you up. Before we unmute people, though, we're going to start with the questions that we received via chat. So let me stop our sharing here. Okay, and then we'll go into our chat. Okay, question number 1. Our images are in the rotator, but the rotator doesn't rotate, at least on mobile. You have to move it forward. Does the rotator rotate automatically, or do you need to swipe through it?
Currently, you need to swipe through. We're working to see if we can make it work.
Okay, we're working on auto rotation, Mimi and Greensburg, but right now you do need to swipe through the rotator. Next question. If we do a video, should we set up a YouTube channel with our club account? I think YouTube is a great way to get videos on there and hosted. Right now, the Notre Dame Day Club, your club page doesn't allow you to host a video. You need to put in the YouTube URL. So definitely, you can even just use your own personal Gmail account to host the video. You don't need to necessarily set up one for your club. But YouTube is the best way to host your videos and then use that URL to put it on your Notre Dame Day club page. So thank you again for that question. What I'm going to do is open up the floor now. And we'll take a look at our, let me see, our audio options. Okay, Bill. Bill Tunnell has raised his hand. Hi, Bill.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. A couple of basic questions I had. The first one I had, the main question I'm getting
No, Bill, we're getting a little bit of feedback here. Hold on 1 second. Let me try. Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Is that better? I hope
Yes,
that's
it
not
is.
on my end. Okay. Well, the main question I've been getting is where does the money that people give go? Like their $10. That doesn't go to what you're voting for, right?
It can. You can assess that. You can allocate your gift completely separately from where you cast your vote. So if you'd like to also have your $10 gift go towards the club scholarship, you can definitely do that. If you want to have the $10 gift go somewhere completely different, you can do that as well.
Okay, so they're going to have options about that on the website. Is that right?
Yes, the default is to the Notre Dame fund if you don't make a selection. But when you're making your initial $10 gift, you'll be able to indicate where you'd like that gift to go.
Okay. Okay. And then the other main question I had is when you're logging in, just kind of a practical question. And I realize the website isn't live yet, but I've tried it. Are they going to have to register separately in order to vote, or do they log in with their My Notre Dame information? I mean, what are they using exactly to log in?
So they're actually not going to need to log in at all. And so to make a gift and vote is something we've changed since last year. All you have to do is just go to the page, hit the give and vote button, put in your credentials, credit card, and off you go.
Okay. All right.
So we're trying to simplify.
Okay. That's great.
Yep.
Thank
Thanks.
you very much, Bill. Please, if you have additional questions, please use the raise your hand button. We'll be happy to hear from you. Additional questions? Okay, well, if you do have additional questions in the next 12 days, please use the email addresses that you see on your screen right now. Please come to our session at 9:45 in McKenna Hall if you're in town for Leadership Weekend. We'll be happy to answer some questions there for you. We'll also put this webinar up on the internet on our brand standards and handbook page. So please feel free to do that. We had one more question come in. Can anyone make a donation or just alumni members? Anyone can make a donation. We're encouraging every member of the Notre Dame family, every alum, every parent, every friend of the university, even if you're just a fan of the football program, we're encouraging all members of the Notre Dame family to make a gift. So anyone can make a gift and vote on Notre Dame Day. Also, Tom, did you say people can start paying on the 18th rather than the 24th? Yes, giving and voting is going to open early next week. We're shooting for the 18th. We're working with our technology partner to finalize the website, but we'll make sure that there's a notification out when you are able to give and vote. But yes, that will happen early this year. You'll just have to wait until the broadcast begins at 6:42 p.m. Eastern Time on April 24th to actually see the leaderboard for the first time. Ashley, I'm going to unmute you here. Hi, Ashley. Ashley, can you hear us? Well, please chime in, Ashley, if you can hear us at some point.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now, Ashley, yes.
Well, technology difficulties here.
That's all right.
On the campaign page, I tried to upload our club logo, but I have a rectangular image and it looks like you're looking for a square image there. And so when I upload it, it looks kind of distorted. Do you have any tips for that?
Yeah, so I think you hit it directly, which is square images work better.
Okay.
We can either, I don't know if there's room, I haven't seen your image, if there's room to trim it or to add some white space or other things around it to make it squarish.
Yeah, I'll try adding, if I just put that in like Word and then do kind of a screenshot that's square.
Yeah, you can do that. That's worked. We've seen that. So the image space itself is pretty small. So you shouldn't be too worried about what happens to the resolution by doing that.
Sure. Okay, great. Thank you.
And if you have other problems with it or if it doesn't work out, feel free to shoot me an email and we'll figure out how to help you on it.
All right. Well, as I mentioned, we'll be putting this full session on our handbook and brand guidelines page coming up very shortly. That way you'll be able to watch this over again. We're also going to post it on social media on our Proud to Be ND YouTube page, as well as on Proud to Be ND on social media. So if you need to watch this again, by all means, you can tune in. If you have questions, please reach out to the email addresses that you see in front of you. Other than that, I just want to thank you on behalf of everyone here, the entire Notre Dame Day team that works the large portion of a year to pull this thing off. We want to thank you so much for your participation, both those of you that have made this the biggest giving day in the country and those of you that might be new to help us this year. We really cannot do it without you. We're so grateful for everything that you do for the Notre Dame community from wherever you are in the country and around the world. And we look forward to joining and celebrating with all of you this coming a week from Sunday, April 24th, starting at 6:42 p.m. Eastern on NotreDameDay.nd.edu. Thanks again so much for all of you taking time out of your lunch hour or out of your work day today to join us. And we'll see you 12 days from today on Notre Dame Day. Thanks to all of you again, and go Irish.